Hi, my name's Taria and I'm the Traveling Tooth. Welcome back to the Traveling Tooth. Today we're going to talk about applying to dental school and the strategies behind it. Why is it important to have a strategy when applying to dental school? When I was applying to dental school, I applied several times. I got in on my third try and I didn't realize how many steps you have to take just to get in. Through every application, I learned through my mistakes, and I'm here to share my methods and my mistakes with you so that you can learn from them and you can just skip ahead and go right through. So why is it important to strategize your university option? It's to increase your chances of getting in. We all know that dental school is hella competitive and we want the best chances of getting in first time round. Number one, look at the acceptance rate. Each university has a certain number of students that they're going to allow compared to the amount of applications they get in a year. Have a look at each rate, have a look at how many they accept and how many places they have to offer. The reason that this is so important is because some universities have a 40% acceptance rate, others have 10%, and obviously you want to go to somewhere which has a higher, because the higher the acceptance rate, the better. The lower the acceptance rate means that the more competitive it can be, and personally that was. Number two, have a look at UK CAT cutoff point, because each university have a different cutoff and it's important to know what it is. Some universities have very high expectations from the UK CAT. Some have different weightings, so the weightings would be more towards the UK CAT. It may mean that when you apply, they don't really look at your personal statement. They might just care about your UK CAT. Again, each university is extremely different, so you would have to look into the type of weighting, their cutoff points. They might not have it on their UCAS, they might not have it on their website. It might take a little bit more investigating, and that goes into my third point. Contact the admissions team, whether it be email or whether it be on the phone. Just contact them, tell them your application, tell them your story. They'll give you an idea of where your application can stand. But also when contacting the admissions team, you have to be prepared for the fact that there's going to be so many people contacting them with the same questions. They may not have the time to talk to you. They may not have the time to give you as much information. It may be the case that they will give you information that was already available on the website. It may be the case that some people might be extremely helpful that day. It really depends, but it's always good to go in there with an open mind, and the worst that could happen is that they're going to say, sorry, I can't give out any information. So it's always best to try. For me, I found contacting the admissions team was extremely helpful. I was a very different case because I had extenuating circumstances. I told them my grades, I told them my A-levels, I told them my degree, I told them my story. And I had some universities who said, if you apply, we're not going to accept you. For example, we don't like your A-level grades, you're going to have to redo it. Or say I didn't get the grade in university, or my personal statement just isn't looking good. I had a university come back to me when I contacted them telling me that I wouldn't get in because of my A-level grade. I would have to consider redoing my A-levels. That's not something that I was considering, and I decided not to put them. But I saved that option because that option would have just been a rejection. It might be the case for other people for UK CAT, for A-levels, for their degree, and it really helps. So I would heavily suggest and heavily recommend to contact the university because it makes such a difference. They might also give you information on tour days, or they might help you in other ways. It might be unexpected. I found some universities to be extremely helpful. I found others to be not as helpful, but it helped me make my decisions to the point where the day before I was going to apply, I was in two minds about two universities and I wasn't sure who I was going to put down. And in the end, I called both of them up and I made my decision because new information came to light. Admission teams tend to be extremely helpful because sometimes they provide information that wasn't available on the website or just openly on UCAS. So they might send you a little bit more information or just guidance, and it can be extremely helpful for some people. Number four, consider other exams, not just the UK CAT. It's so easy to think, I want to do the UK CAT because the BMAT, the GAMSAT, it's only for one university. It's an extra expense, it's more work, I have to do another test. And getting into that mindset gets you away from those universities. But the thing is that a lot of people will have that mindset, and because of that, a lot of people will not apply to Leeds because they don't want to do a BMAT. By doing that, you're also closing off that option which people tend to sway away from. So it's always good to keep your options open. and consider it maybe. Another thing to look out for is nationality privilege. That was something I came across during my interview. I applied to a couple of Scottish universities and I found out during my interview that I think someone asked a question and they said that 30% of the acceptance now would be non-Scottish national. So that didn't mean UK citizens, that meant international, that meant UK, that meant everywhere else except Scotland. So I found that to be extremely discouraging because dentistry itself is an extremely difficult course to get into. Plus, as a postgraduate, going into a postgraduate course, that makes it even more limited. And then finding out that, you know, Scottish people have 60 to 70%, that really I was just like, okay, will I get in? I don't know. So that's something to look out for. If you feel like that is not something you want to go up against, then stay away from that university. Again, have a look at the universities because my information is not on a particular university. It's the general experience that I've experienced. So for my postgraduates, here's a little tip. Consider the university that you're already attending. If your university is already doing dentistry, then email them. And the reason I say that is because if you're going to apply to the university that you're already at, there might be some leeway. There might be a jump start or something. I know some universities tend to have a regulation where, for example, you may skip the application process and go straight into the interview stage if you get the certain amount of grades that are required. Not only that, but as a student, the faculty may already know you or the university itself knows you. So you have a bit of an advantage. For example, if you're a great student at the university, they already know you're a great student because you've been there. So consider it. Email them. Again, there's no harm asking what the procedure is and asking for a reference within the university that might help your application. That's a thought. Another piece of advice for my postgrads is to consider undergraduate courses. I know as a postgrad that we don't want to do undergraduate degrees because first of all, we don't want to have to worry about funding. We don't want to do 5 years, we want to do 4 years instead of the 5. And then we don't want to be with a bunch of 18-year-olds who just come out of school. But if you really want to get into dental school, again, broaden your horizon. Just put yourself out there because I don't think we realize how competitive postgraduate degrees are in dentistry. We have to remember there's only 3 universities in the UK who do postgrad, and those 3 universities are very selective. I think some of them may have 15 places or something like that, and it's really difficult to get in. Not only that, but you're going against PhD students, you're going against people who have already done medicine and want to go into max facs, and you're going against people who are extremely experienced. So it is very competitive. Although that is nerve-wracking, it is important to maybe have an undergraduate option. This is only from my own experience. When I applied to dental school, I started off just applying to postgraduate courses and then I did a bit of mix. And then in my last application, I think I only applied to 1. Because again, of the other methods that I've spoken about, and here I am at an undergraduate university, you will find ways to fund, and yeah, that will be another video. Lastly, keep an eye out for universities who may still look at your A-levels. As a postgraduate, we want them to look at a postgrad, but there are universities who will still look at your A-levels. And if you feel like your A-levels aren't good enough, then maybe just stay away from them. A way to find that out is, yes, look on their website, yes, look on the UCAS, and also call them up. Just ask them about their weighting. Each university, the weighting is different. I think, for example, some may just focus on your degree and your UCAT. Some may focus more on your personal statement, but it's always important to know which one it is. That was my advice for getting into university and having a strategy for your UCAT. So I hope my advice was helpful to you, and if you have any questions, then please contact me. If you enjoy this video, then leave a comment. If you feel like I could improve, leave a comment. And if you like this video, then like and subscribe. Check out my blog, thetravelingtooth.com. I have a segment which has all of this in writing, so if you feel like this video was too long, then just go to my blog and you'll see it. Bye!